Start with the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Trombley. Here. Trustee McFetrich. Here. Trustee Trombley.
Here.
Trustee Garrett is excused. Mayor Martin.
Here. Need a motion to approve the minutes of September 14th.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any additions, deletions, discussion?
I saw nothing. Everything was
That's
fine.
really bad. If there's no discussion, all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. We will have petitions, presentation of petitions, communications, notices, general question period for members of the community. We'll move on. Have the report from the Codes Enforcement Officer, Mike Tatro.
You have my report. One thing I forgot to put on there is been keeping in contact with the people from the cleanup from St. Mary's, and they're done pretty much the asbestos abatement and everything's all cleaned up. They do have a fuel tank to pull out yet. There was a buried fuel tank in the ground that they found during the project, so they're coming back to take care of that. And then they're gonna cap everything and seed it and mulch it. And there should be grass on there in the spring. So, looks pretty nice over there. They took out all the old foundations, so it's just the parking lot that's gonna be left. So they did a nice job. Other than that, it's basically the same thing every month. A few letters here and there, a few violations. Was working on getting pictures for the project there on Oak Street that doesn't seem to want to ever come to an end. And I started reviewing the local law that I would have to bring him to court. And I personally think that we should look at that. The most I can fine him is $25. I mean, the judge is gonna laugh at me, the guy's gonna laugh at me. You know, I think a minimum fine on something like that should be $100 or $200 to get somebody's attention. Then I started looking for other things throughout the code, and we don't even have a definition of junk in the zoning law. Like, you know, you asked me to go around and people have stuff dragging on their property, which we would consider junk. I mean, if I get after them, generally they'll pick it up, but if I had to really enforce it, I don't have anything to stand on. You know, there's nothing defined as to what junk is in zoning. There's a definition of a junkyard, but that's it. So I kind of think that we need to look at some of that and probably update some of this stuff. As far as the guy goes, I got my pictures. I'm gonna send him the stuff, but I mean, I don't know what the outcome is with this. And I don't want to have to do it under unsafe buildings because you know the process with that. And that's going to cost a fortune, and what are we going to get out of it, you know? So
what is the process to update those zoning laws and put more specificity into them?
well, we'd have to come up with some language. I mean, as far as the zoning laws, I mean, I can get examples of definitions of junk and what constitutes junk. I mean, I have a car up in the French Village. It's been on the front of the lot for almost 3 years now. And according to the junkyard law, you're allowed one junk vehicle now. You're gonna have a junk vehicle. This thing's all apart. It's right there by the sidewalk, and I can't really do anything with it. I mean, I don't know how you people feel, but personally, I don't see why a person needs a junk vehicle in the village. You know, what would be the purpose? So I think, you know, stuff like that needs to be addressed. And once we have something, then, you know, we can do the appearance tickets. And I mean, I've been lucky so far. I mean, the ones on South Street is a classic example. I mean, I give them enough of a hard time that they generally clean up, but if push came to shove, I'm not sure I'd have a leg to stand on in court.
I guess my question was more like, does the zoning board draft something, some suggestions on what to change and we approve it, or is it something we have to?
I think we would have to do it.
You have to pass the local laws.
Yeah. anything to do with.
Well, I realize that.
But you could ask the zoning board for a recommendation as for, I mean, what I would do is get different wording from different communities around, and we would compare them and draft, you know, what would probably be, pick the best out of all of them.
Yeah.
Okay,
Can you do that,
Yeah.
please?
that's kind of what I was getting on, is like, how
What
we
we'll do is
started.
come up with the verbiage that we want, that's appropriate for what we need, and then we have to get the attorney involved to change the village code.
Right.
Well, it does sound like it needs to be done, because.
Well, I spent quite a bit of time reading through everything and looking at the different things, and, I mean, I was looking for a definition of junk, so I started out doing, and I can't find anything here. So then I realized, well, we might have a little bit of a problem, so. But I'll continue with the one up there and send him the stuff, maybe it'll get him to realize that we're serious here, and, I mean, that backhoe hasn't moved in a month and a half. And the building is still there. If he thinks that has been removed, it's not. That hole has to be filled, it has to be capped. If he wants to have a rock pile in the back, that's up to him, but,
But in walking by there, the building's not down.
no.
I mean, it's still
Oh,
as
yeah.
high up as this table at
Yeah.
least. I mean, it's not,
Now he's got posted signs on there, so I
didn't
can't
see
go on
that.
there and take pictures, because if I do that, then he brings a suit, and, you know, I got pictures of him in violation, and I've been through that before, so I can stand on the road and take my pictures, but unless he lets me go in there, I'm not gonna step foot in there.
The rock in the hard place.
Yeah. And then the other ones are just basically notice of violations, yard sales that never got cleaned up, and things of that nature.
And I did briefly read the letter about the Patterson building. You got anything to add to that?
He doesn't wanna talk with me, he likes the mayor. I guess
We,
I mean,
We had a conversation last week. He came down and we met out here in the parking lot, he and I. And he's exploring his options as to what he can do to this building. I'm not quite sure what direction he's going to take. I would hope that he would consider removing this building as a gesture for one of his close friends. He was very close to Bob then, still is with Teresa. And Bob, in my estimation, in my conversations with Bob, he liked this little village. And he cared a lot about what was happening in this little village. And with these circumstances, I would like to think that Bob would have a huge influence on the removal of this building. And I think that if you look at the friendships and the thinking of this village going to survive and be better, I would think that the consideration might be for the landowner, for the building owner, to take the responsibility and to remove that building himself. In our conversation, he was looking at his options. He mentioned, much the same as Mike just mentioned, if we go the legal route, it will be very expensive. And what are we going to end up with? If we win, if we lose, what are we going to end up with? I would like to see, obviously, the owner to take responsibility and to take care of this building. If it sits there, we all know the result of this. It'll go up for taxes, and then the county will have to either auction it or whatever the county will do. And Janet has expressed, some concern about that. If it goes up for auction and somebody buys it for a minimal fee, and it sits there.
Mm-hmm.
So I would obviously like to see the owner step up and take care of this building. If for nothing else, just in memory of a close friend and a relationship that is still ongoing with Bob's widow, Teresa. He still owns land next door to the Venn property. I think he's serious about wanting to take care of this, and I hope that in our future discussions, he will take care of this. At least that is my hope. And hopefully that will happen. But that's where it stands right now.
That's what it's at, okay.
And I know he watches this meeting, so.
Well, those are good points.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions for Mike?
Thanks.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, we'll continue with the grumpiness. Afternoon. As you are well aware by now, water and wastewater bills were mailed out to our users last week. It is very important that the payment of these bills happens by the end of this month. The village needs the revenue from this billing to maintain services in a timely and productive manner to all of our users, both village and town. Water service is essential for us all, and the village goes to great lengths to keep our water supply safe for our users. Providing this quality product incurs costs that the village must pay in a timely manner for all of our suppliers. The bills people have, the bills our user have, home loans, rent, car payments, cell phones, etc., must be paid on time, or service to these components is interrupted until payment is made. The same will be done for unpaid water and wastewater outstanding balances. This is by no means a pleasant part of running this village, but as a business, this step will be executed for non-paying accounts. That means it's going to go forward. I'm not executing anybody. Some services will have to be shut off around the middle of November. The water project is rapidly moving forward with the water towers on Prospect Street and the West Service Road being erected efficiently, and soon will be the focal point as they dominate the sky over the village. As reported last month, adjustments to the cost of water, which has not changed in the past 4 years, will have to begin with the January 2016 billing. This increase is necessary to pay our portion of the water project loan, with the first payment due in January of 2017. The decision on how much of an increase will be necessary has not been decided upon by the village board as of yet, but I anticipate that the rate for the January 2016 billing will increase about $1 per thousand gallons used, with another adjustment very possible for June or January of 2017. The cost of progress will be offset by the villagers, or the village users and the town users, having better water pressure and having a water softening system installed as part of this project. The cost of maintaining pressure pumps and water softening supplies will be a thing of the past, while giving our users a better quality water. There will be much more discussion on this matter in the near future. If you have questions on this water project, or you need clarification of something about this water project, or you have some concerns about this water project, please call the village office. We are more than willing and more than happy to help clarify and to help you out with understanding this project as it moves forward. Thank you. Trustee Trombley.
Very exciting to see the project moving forward, and again, Mayor Martin, for all the hard work you've put into hours and hours and hours of sitting through meetings on this project, and it's great to see the towers starting to come along.
I've retired again.
Yes, you could have. I really don't have much for a report. Cedar Street looks really good. I see you're coming to the end of the paving and moving on to sidewalks, which will be a blessing in some areas. Again, kudos to you and your group, small group as they are. You managed to get a ton of stuff done, so thank you.
3 more months of this weather.
Yeah, that's very wishful thinking.
Good luck with that.
We'll go broke with the blacktopping and the cement.
Cement.
Okay, thank you. Trustee McFetrich?
We have 3 upcoming events. This Thursday, October 8th at 6:30, will be a very interesting presentation on Yehudi Ashman, who is a Champlain native. That is at 6:30 at the History Center. The following week, on October 13th, at the Champlain Meeting House, Mark Berry and Christine Racine will talk about their books, and that is at 6:30. And then just looking ahead, if you save the dates, next November 12th at 6:30 at the History Center, Penny Clute from Plattsburgh is going to talk about the women's suffrage movement. I think we have reached the end of the rowing program because it just keeps getting dark, unfortunately. But it's been a wonderful experience this summer. I can't say enough good things about it. It allowed us to show a lot of people our beautiful river and the boat launch, and it's been really wonderful. I think I'd like to publicly thank the people that really provided those boats. So Celine Paquette made the initial contact. She had a big hand in that. The Lake Champlain Basin Program and the Lake Champlain Maritime Museum all worked together to allow us to participate in this longboat program, and hopefully next summer we can get the boats back.
I was gonna ask you that.
We'll see how the grant goes. It is a grant, but I think they were pretty happy with what we did with the program, so I think it was very successful. And thanks to Mayor Martin for filling in whenever I couldn't be there and unlocking the boats.
Well, I think it was a very successful program, and it brought a lot of people down into the park area on Friday evenings, and I think they genuinely had a good time with the program.
I think so too.
We had some folks that were there every Friday night. Every Friday night. We had people that were driving from Katyville
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't
to
Yeah.
realize that.
participate in this. It was well received, and thank you, Janet, for your participation and what you've done. And hopefully we will be able to get it back in the spring. I'm sure it will be a popular program next year as well, and we should be able to promote it and go for it. So, thank you.
You're very welcome. It was very exciting. And that's all I have.
Okay. Trustee Trombley?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mike, and to your crew. And I think we should also thank the county for all their hard work in this paving as well, because without them, we couldn't pull this off every time we do streets. But
You do a good job.
as Kim said, you know, you got a small crew, you do a lot with them. I know you work very hard as well, so thank you. And I know you're not done yet, you still got a lot of cement work.
Doing drains right now.
Yeah.
Get the drain straightened out.
Yeah, but it
Maybe
does,
2 more today.
Cedar Street has never looked so great, so.
I know, it's
That's true.
It never
been
has.
a tough street.
It's
Yeah.
never looked so great. It's a
Basically,
good job.
We had a hard time getting through there in the winter time. Everybody parking the sidewalk.
Yep.
Now that should, they do a little bit. We'll get warm and after that we'll get done. I don't think it'll be, I think we'll be fine now.
Yeah, glad it got done because it was overdue. It needed to be done. And I just want to report that the food drive that was held last week,
Yes, very successful.
very successful again, yes. And so thank you to everybody who participated, to all the patrons that went down there and bought groceries and donated. It's a huge help, and as always, is a huge need, so thank you.
Thank you. I guess I may have neglected in my report to mention, and Mike just reminded me with the snow plowing coming up, that there is a parking ban in the village from November 15th to April 15th. I don't know that, probably could report this on the next month, we will mention it next month, but to make sure that it gets out in the year before then, so that we can facilitate, and this is from midnight to 6 in the morning, from November 15th to the April 15th, parking ban on the sides, on the streets. So please keep that in memory, the tow trucks will be very busy. All right, moving along, we'll have the report from the clerk treasurer.
Everyone has their report for September for the expense and revenues.
We're doing pretty good at the midpoint here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like we're on target.
You're gonna see the street maintenance contractual and the CHIPS money changed in a hurry though.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking of that when I was reading it.
I got nervous.
But we'll be fine.
Yes, I'm reassured now, I understand it better.
You're really sure that we're within budget, you mean?
Well, yeah, I didn't understand that minus 9,000 until Juanita explained it to me.
Okay.
When you see that big minus number.
I
you
did,
go.
I did see that.
And-
CHIPS is the only account that can be in the negative.
Yeah, but
Okay.
that's because I just didn't understand how that works, so now that I understand.
Because we get reimbursed.
Yeah.
Of course,
Any
that-
questions?
we report another-
Do you have any questions for Juanita on the,
As always, nice job, ladies.
well, let's pay the bills.
We have additional invoices to add to the warrant. Our additional invoices are $54,732.92, which brings our warrant for October to $113,093.07.
And for those that are going, wow, it's a lot of asphalt in there.
Yeah.
It's
$96,000 of
That's
asphalt.
right.
two streets took a lot of blacktop. A lot of blacktop. But we knew that going in, so it was expected,
And we saved an extra year for it, so.
yeah.
You might have to save next year too.
Yeah, probably. Need a motion to approve the warrant?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second?
Is there any further discussion on the warrant? As you look it over, please.
Just one question, will this be our last billing from West Ave?
No, we have
We've decided
2 more weeks.
to move.
Okay.
The 23rd will be
Oh,
his last
yeah,
day.
Okay.
Okay, I wondered that too.
Mike's got a lot of work that needs to be, still needs to be accomplished
Okay.
that Bobby can help take care of. I would imagine there will be at least one more mowing before the mowing season ends. And Mike's got him painting
Hydrant,
fire hydrants now.
some
And
more cement to do.
No, I don't see a problem there at all. I mean,
No,
as
I was
long
just-
as-
No, it's
as
great.
long
I
as-
was just
as long as he's
curious.
needed,
yeah, we have funds, so we
yeah.
can keep him on. And
It seems to be working out very well with West Ave,
Yes.
doing that this way.
Yes.
Good, well, last year it was October 19th was the last.
Oh, it was, okay.
Yeah.
Any further discussion on the warrant? Have a roll call, please.
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee McFetrich.
Aye.
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Mayor Martin.
Aye. The superintendent's report, please.
The remaining side blocks were put down on Cedar Street. Right now, we're in the process of raising the drains one more time to road height. Took quite a bit more asphalt to get it pitched and shimmed up, so what we thought would be the finished height wasn't, so that's what we're in the process of now. We still have, I think, 4 or 5 more to do. We're gonna do a couple a day. Paving is complete, as you know, for this year. Water meters have been read and bills are sent out. This time we found quite a few high readings. We tried to stop or call residents, the ones that did have high readings. Most of the people I talked to, as I spoke with them, they started to flash back. Of course, it was a cool day when I called them, but the last 3 months have been pretty unseasonably warm, so a lot of it was, water, flowers, pools, pressure washing houses. And then I found quite a few that had toilets running, either flappers or the floats running over, so quite a few thanked me for stopping, bringing it to their attention so they could get it fixed. So we still have a few broken meters that I have to go back, wires, I got a couple I have to replace. But we did read them a little bit late with the paving, so in the next week here, we'll try to get over there and fix the ones that did have issues. We still need to put shoulders on Paquette Boulevard. I'm gonna see, actually probably tomorrow, I'm gonna see if maybe the town can give us a hand with that. They got a shoulder machine, otherwise it's gonna take us some time hand shoveling gravel on both sides of the road. So I'm gonna talk to Alan and see if he'd be able to help us. And I did get a hold of the county, I'm waiting to hear back about getting some striping, line striping. She's supposed to get back a hold of me and let me know if he has time. If so, I got it down for Paquette, Elm Street, Church Street, Prospect. Major streets.
Those are the only ones that really need it.
Yeah, especially the end of Paquette, because you got turning lanes both ways, one incoming, two outgoing.
And
so-
Prospect is
Yeah.
in bad weather, it's needed, it's hard to see.
Hydrant flushing. Well, we'll also be working on drainage tile. I gotta put a little bit more, we have to dig down a little deeper to get the water to move on Cedar, so I gotta add some little bit of culvert there. We still have we still have quite a bit of sidewalks to do. A bunch of pieces that we need to finish. We had a water break, I gotta put a sidewalk and a curb there. I gotta do a couple of short pieces into Cedar and where it meets Church, get those squared up, and then I've got a piece in front of Ice, a piece up here on the end, it's all broke up. And then I gotta do on Spruce Street, where we had water running in basements last year, I gotta do a couple 100-foot stretch there, so there'll be some sidewalks here that we have to get finished on. Hopefully the weather stays milder a little bit. Hydrant flushing, it's gonna be the week of October 19th through the 23rd. Expect pressure fluctuations and discoloration. And also brush pickup. This we're gonna do on a Thursday and Friday, 2 consecutive weeks. It's gonna be October 22nd and 23rd, and then October 29th and 30th. 1 pickup load per household, maximum 3 inches in diameter, 8 feet long, and needs to be put out curbside. Also, on September 16th, about 1:30 in the afternoon, I gathered the crew and I told them, I have some news for you guys that you probably don't want to hear. They said, uh-oh. I said, yep, we have 200 plus feet of sidewalk formed and we have 10 yards of cement coming in 30 minutes. The guys never complained, they stepped up, they did the job they were called upon to do. I asked a lot of these, out of the small crew that I have, and they can tell you that we've taken on a lot of big projects for a small crew, and I'll stand beside them, and we work together to get the job done as a team. I also want to give a special thank you to Mayor Martin. When we had the cement truck show up, and we were short-handed, I gave the mayor a call, and said, what are you doing? He accidentally said, nothing. And I said, great, because we have cement on the way and we're short-handed. The mayor was down there raking and edging cement right beside the rest of the crew. And I bet there's a slim to none chance that you'll find this in any other community around New York State, that the mayor's out on the streets with the DPW crew. Again, thank you, Mayor Martin, for what you do.
My pleasure.
You didn't say that day.
No, I didn't say that.
We didn't get a picture
It's
of
been a
that?
couple of weeks, but I've recovered.
No, we didn't get a picture, we didn't have time for pictures that day. We had a few days that it was awful hot, but we were in a rush. We were doing 2 pours, 20 yards a week. Did 20 yards that week to get ready for paving, because we knew it was coming the following week. So we did a pour. The following day we took the forms down, reset them, finished setting them in the morning, did another pour. So it was a busy time. And that's all I had for my
You guys accomplished a lot in a short period of time. You really did.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Very proud of what you've done. Any questions for Mike?
No. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
The correspondence, please.
Letter to Mohammed Khan with bill for property maintenance.
Have we heard from him?
No. Correspondence from Thomas Murnane regarding Don Wayne Patterson. Letter to Ryan Dragoon regarding repair work at 1163 Route 9. The JCEO monthly report. And the third quarter sales tax from the county. And the letter from the town to Mr. Charles regarding New York State DOT station that's going on the West Service Road and the sewer line.
Just to bring you up to date with that, we had a meeting with DOT last week. They're going to move forward with the truck inspection station at the border. They have also agreed to increase the size of their wastewater pipes so that the town will be able to join, the businesses on that West Service Road will be able to join there and they will drain efficiently. They're putting a lift station pump here. You see where some of it is gravity fed from the, just at the border limit. Coming south, there's a little bump there in the road, so to speak. The state is going to install a lift pump there, and then it will be gravity fed the rest of the way down to Locust Street.
Yeah, there's like a mole there, right?
Yeah, but they have agreed to increase the size of the pipe to accommodate our needs as well. But let's,
From where, from the border or from?
well, they were gonna only run, originally, they were only gonna run from where the building site is. You see it
Right.
on your map as MH3, MH15, in that area.
Yeah,
And it was going to be built there down, it's quite large. You got the truck inspection station, plus you have the state police.
but when you say they're gonna increase the size of the drainage, is it from that new building or from
From the border,
the border, the existing, right?
yes.
That's what I thought you meant, okay.
yes, there's no existing there now,
Right,
The only one is on the other side, the other service road.
yeah. That drains the border and duty free.
gotcha.
This one will, right there at the parking lot, come down through, increase the size of the discharge pipe, and put in the lift station that then we can hook up the rest of the properties down the West Service Road into the system. And it was a fair, I think it was a fair trade. We reminded them that we were already planning to run a water line through there, which saved I think it saved the state a ton of money.
All the testing,
Hmm?
all the testing, the SHPO reports, all that
Yeah.
stuff has already been done for them.
Yeah, so I think that was a good trade. And it'll save us some money in hooking up the sewer system on that side, on the West Service Road. Okay, any other comments on the correspondence? Full business, Champlain Memorial Library, as reported, Amy reported last week, and I think we talked to John Rowe today. The next meeting will be in November,
Excuse me.
bless you,
Thank you.
I believe November 2nd.
No, we're going to
later.
reschedule it a little bit later.
Okay, all right, we'll reschedule that. Have we heard from Jess about the plaque? Okay, we'll call tomorrow the plaque for the playground owners, so we can get that up,
I'll
hopefully.
try her again tomorrow.
Okay,
I don't know what she asked me for my email address again, and I gave it to her.
okay. We have been looking at this vehicle purchase for the last 2 or 3 or 4 months. We put it out to bid. We received some bids back. We also had some other paperwork from New York State contract pricing. You have been copied with the 5 that we received. These all have, and Mike has checked, these all have the specifications that we put down for our purchase, what we were looking for. If it is the board's pleasure, we can start the process so that we can get this ordered. It's going to take 12 to 14 weeks.
14 to 16, I think.
14 to 16 weeks to get the product, the pickup. And this is a 3/4 ton pickup. We will get a plow for it. It will help us out this winter, not only plowing, but providing transportation back and forth to the city to take our testing materials and things like that to the lab. It will replace the van that we have pulled off the road and recently sold as surplus property. And I think it's a timely purchase for us. What would be the board's pleasure? I mean, Mike is here, if you have any questions on,
Yeah, we can discuss this before
Any of
we
these?
make any
Yeah, sure.
motions in any way.
let's, to discuss it, we probably need a motion first.
Yeah, I thought.
Need a motion to discuss the purchase of a new vehicle,
So moved.
Yeah, second.
and we have a second. Now we can discuss what are our concerns. Go ahead.
Okay, all things are equal between every one of these bids in regard to slight differences you see where you see package and then on another bid, there's additional charges for that. It's just
Yeah.
to ensure that the equipment is in there.
Yes.
In some places, like on the Chevy, it was part of the package. Does that stand true as well on the S-Series down here on the right-hand columns?
Way to the right, the
Yeah.
second one to the right, yes, you've got the breakdown is actually onto there. The
Yeah,
last one on the
that's what
right,
this is here, right? This is
yep,
theirs?
that's that one. The last one to the right, she did not send it to me yet. She sent me who bid on it, the state contract pricing, and it was the one way to the right that was sent to me today, but they didn't send me the summary sheet of everything broke down like they usually do. She has not sent that yet to me.
And
What
the
we
state
did-
contract would be
It's-
with everything that you
Yeah,
checked.
because this last sheet, the second sheet is what I had sent to them for the state contract, what should be on there.
Okay.
And it was the same as we sent to the other dealers.
The other dealers, when they put it out for bid, they listed it, this, or it has to be a minimum of like 6 liter, because it was open to Chevy, Ford, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You can't say 6 liter because it's either 6 liter or the Ford is a 6.2, so we had to put minimum of
Oh, okay.
6 liter.
Now all these are the same engine, same size V8.
They're all 6.2,
Six.
the Fords are, and 6 liter in the Chevy, and the Fords are 6.2.
Okay.
They're all 6-speed transmissions, they're all 373 gear ratio. What could be apples to apples was, some of it couldn't be. Like, for instance, on the Ford pickup, there is a package that's not on a Chevy, and it was sent out that way. And the second one, you can see it, I think it was the amber LEDs, you see it on there, but for instance, Ford has a package that, I'll give you, amber LED warning strobes are pre-installed. You've got them, they're high mounted, there's some in the hood. They're pre-mounted strobes
Oh, nice.
that are in, like, basically safety light. GM doesn't offer that, Ford does.
That's nice.
But I think, if you look at it, when you look at the bottom row where it says amber LED warning strobe, if you look at the second one, I think that's that package that has them, and I think if you look at the third one, that's just their light bar, because you can see the difference in price.
Yeah.
I think they didn't put that package in, they put just the light bar,
Oh, okay.
because any place they can cut to try to get the price down, they do. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Amber LED
Yeah.
warning strobes.
Mhm.
The second one over, you see the price. And then if you look at the third one over, those shouldn't be that much difference. The second one, I'm sure, is what the price of that
So you
is.
think it's something different?
I think the third one is just a light bar.
Yeah.
I don't think they put that package in.
And then on the other two,
The other one,
it's just included?
the next one over for sure I know is, because it's on that third sheet you've got.
Yep.
Uh,
It's on 87S here at the bottom.
Yeah, 87S. 87S? Yes, that's it. But the last one I don't know that for sure until she sends me the sheet.
Where is that dealer located, by the way?
That one, is, not around here, but I can tell you. Which one? I got my desk.
Hamburg?
No, the last one, just a minute, I'll tell you.
That's
Oh,
okay.
no, not the last
So
one. I thought you were talking
they're all in
about-
that,
Webster,
Yeah.
Rochester.
Okay,
Is it?
that's where the Rochester one came in, yeah.
they're all in the Rochester or Syracuse area, then, aren't they? All right.
The
The
large
city.
volume.
And Barstow is in East Rochester, and West here is in Hamburg.
Okay.
It's all large dealership, and you go by there, there's thousands of trucks on those parking lots.
They're all relatively close in price.
They are.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
Yo.
looking at that Webster Ford and their base price without,
no, that's not, though, I think that they only give you one price, I believe that's gonna be, should go to the bottom line. But I can't verify that to have my paper, but I'm sure it's gonna be, it should be down at the bottom, total price with options.
And you gave them the option list.
Yep, it's the same sheet. When you send it for state contract, they do it that way. I try to have him do it as a base price and break down the options.
Yeah,
He's just an option that they're crazy on or we don't want,
yeah.
we can take it off.
Mhm.
But when they send it as a price, this is the price delivered,
so they're only off
by a little bit.
like $100.
Not even, if you go from that one to the next one to the left,
Right, that's what I'm looking at.
not even, and you're looking at local versus
Absolutely.
Look at 80 some odd dollars.
89,
Yeah, that's what it is, $89.
89.98.
Is it possible to look at these options as they're listed and take some of them out to make this,
I'm sure,
less expensive?
I'm sure. That's why I tried to get him to list them as separate, so we could see what actually every option costs.
But if you do that, Greg, do we need to do that with all 5 bids?
Well, if you decide, can you decide, I don't know if you have to decide who you buy it from, or do you decide, I'll spend up to this much, and then you can,
I think you have to decide who you're gonna buy it from.
I've got a question here. I'm looking at the 4th row over. I'm looking at running boards. So the first 3 have it listed.
mm-hmm,
The-
fourth ones, they are in there. They're included, to be on that last sheet, and it's
Okay.
going to be number,
18B, is that it?
That's steps.
So that's not a running board.
well,
Could be.
yeah, it's a molded, 18B it is on the right side,
It is, huh?
molded black step, yeah.
So that's a running board, not just a step.
Well, that's a step, because they're molded in, I think in the Forge are molded in. The other ones are a tube bar.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
You can get 3-inch or 6-inch diameter, and they're a tube.
okay,
You can get them in chrome or black, it would be better on black because it was less. But that's,
okay.
the truck we have now has nothing. So
Yeah,
the seat
I-
pitches.
And that's
Yeah.
hard to get in and out of.
Well, no, you need,
Sometimes you
you
have
need
to
to
use
have,
ladders.
Sometimes you have to use
That's what
step
you
stool.
said.
Yes, you're gonna step to the placard with
Somebody
her.
brings a ladder with her.
well,
Step stool.
you
We
I understand.
already ruined the seat
I
in
know.
the one ton, and they
I
did
know.
warranty it. They took it out and put a new foam and a new cover.
oh,
And
really?
then, yeah, they did warranty it, Parker's did, and then we bought, some Cordura heavy, seat covers. And they're in there, and that's saving the seat, cause you can see the seat covers wearing, actually, just from getting in and out, you know?
Could we purchase this, the small steps to put on the driver's side?
I'm sure we
One
can.
side, the others,
Yeah.
even that would help you to get in and out of. Instead of, or set running boards, but I think we need to do something for that truck,
Yeah.
cause it is
The
too
step stools
high.
would be a lot cheaper than the running boards.
Put it in the back.
Throw it in the back of the truck.
But I
Greg,
know
will
that
you-
when I did get the quote for the seat, originally, I didn't realize at the time it was under warranty. I think you had mentioned it, check if it's under warranty, and they did warranty it, but, it wasn't, it was expensive to, like, $300-400 to fix a seat.
Mhm.
Phone, you know, once you wear the cloth or the seat, then the phone starts to wear.
Yeah. So what are you thinking, Greg, that we could maybe
Well, just
take off from here?
looking at the options on the bottom there, it seems like $760 some, $786 is quite expensive for the heated mirrors and the turn signals. I don't know how beneficial those would be.
Yeah, but then the first one, they're included.
Well, that's already included here, but at that price, I'm sure it's in there.
Yeah, oh,
It's in
yeah.
there somewhere, and it may not be exact price, but it's gonna be close.
Now, you need this electronic locking axles with shift on the fly. I thought that was just a Ford option, or is it, it's listed here as under the Silverado as well. Is that, I don't know much about that whole thing. You have to get outside and lock the axles for four-wheel drive?
No, electronic, yeah.
Electronic, you don't.
It's all electronic, but I'm surprised that there is an extra charge on that.
Yeah, because it's locking hubs, you gotta get out and lock the hubs.
Yeah, I know, but I don't remember it being on my truck.
And $500
As an
is
as an
quite an
extra charge.
expensive
That's-
option.
Yeah.
Well, it's 182 on the Chevy.
Yeah, I don't-
See it as an option.
I don't know where that,
But those would be to me, those would be the two
the
here. You got a remote
Well, between the
keyless
first-
entry.
These two,
These are
these
both
Uh,
seem to be, oh, I see.
Seen a couple of them that's included, and one it's an extra cost of $400, so. I don't think it's gonna make that much difference in the bottom line of these.
These were all things you wanted, Mike, right? That's why you specified.
These were all
them.
options that were, but I wanted them listed, so if it's something that we, you know, if it was crazy, and if something we get by, we can just take it off.
Yeah.
And
They were listed separately as
Yeah.
add-ons on the bottom of the
I know,
bid sheet.
it's just funny how the prices can vary so much.
Yeah, some of them are close and some are.
I mean, 200 versus 600 for that, I mean, I'm just picking that last one out as an
LED.
example.
Well, that one is because I know that second one, that has the strobes built, I guarantee that has the strobes built into the truck. And that third one that says 250, I guarantee they didn't wanna put that, they tried to cut the cost, so what they did is they just put 250 for a light bar.
And you're thinking the
I'm
first
sure
one
that's what they
also?
did. The first one, they don't offer that, that's a Chevy, that's
Yeah.
just for a light bar on top.
Oh, that one's just a light bar too, okay.
Yeah.
All right, then that makes sense.
And I'm sure that's what they did, they didn't wanna put that in, cause they could,
Okay.
if they could lower replacement rate $300, they got more chance of getting the bid.
As I recall, when we bought that one-ton dump truck, we had to go out and pay the dealer extra for an amber light.
Yeah, they don't come with it, because you give it, there's so many options now too.
$100 or something like that, but
Right.
they wouldn't come down.
Well, you can probably lower it by 400 to 800 if you take out a couple of these.
If you're able to, depending on how these packages are set up.
It looks like the ones that I mentioned are included. The remote starter and the, included in the price, I guess. Without it looks like the fourth one over, local dealer. The mirrors with the turn signals doesn't look like it was added on there.
And
Which makes
actually,
it a little less expensive,
the other two prices are really not out of the ballpark
yeah,
on the price of those.
yeah. So we're looking at price, I guess it's the last two.
Yes.
The last two on the right,
Yes.
And the last one on the right, they didn't send it to me yet, but I want to get that breakdown so I can see all the individual.
What that includes.
Right,
Is it
she sent me
drill?
I talked to her, I said, I have to have it. They pulled it down Friday, she processed it today, she was in the middle of it, she called me, said I send you the summary sheet to tell you what bids came in and prices. but she wasn't finished processing it to send me the breakdown, because usually they send you, they let them know that they were the cheapest, and they send you the whole bundle of what,
Okay.
everything it consists of.
Well, she had the option sheet. Is that correct?
Yes, for the bids, but what they do is that they get a hold of the dealer that was the cheapest,
Yeah.
and they let them know they were the cheapest bid, and then they get a sheet from them, has, everything is broken from Datacom, or everything is broke down, and they send it to you. And I haven't got that yet from her, I'm sure I'll get it tomorrow, because she had, I don't know how many to do. The guy usually does it on vacation, so somebody else was doing it. But I said, no, I had to have it for. The sheet that I sent, the spec sheet, I'm sure it should be everything that's on there. These last two should be the same, as far as what's on there. But without looking at the sheet, you know, some
You don't know
people
for-
have made a mistake,
Yeah, you
or
don't know for sure.
like the first one with yours, I mean.
My personal feeling, even without, if you're thinking that that top figure is probably what the bottom figure is gonna be with everything included, for the minimal amount of money that there is in difference, I much would prefer to keep it local. I
Okay.
mean, to me, there is not
Yeah, it's also.
enough of a difference to
That's
go
fine.
outside of our area.
That's
That's
fine.
my personal opinion.
I agree with that, it's $89.
I agree.
I mean, if it was thousands, we'd
Yeah.
have to be looking at it, but
Yes.
it's not.
Well, I think in terms of a best value here, we're looking at ease of service. And this dealership has been very good so far to us in servicing the vehicle that we have. They've been more than willing to go the extra yard, not mile, but yard, to help us out. And I agree, I think the local dealership, we have a couple, but there's such a difference in price that,
Yeah, there's quite a bit of difference in price.
well, if you've made some decision, if there's, we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any further discussion on this?
No, I guess if we choose, I think we're all leaning on the same one here.
Yeah.
If we choose to buy from a specific dealer, do we then check to see if we can eliminate anything, or, because if it's part of a package, I think
I'm sure
it's
we
just
can.
gonna stay.
What you're bidding on is the price right there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And that includes what's on your list as the bid process.
So Tom, you're saying we should maybe try to lower that price a little bit?
No, I was trying to sort of agree with Greg, like, so if we choose this, then do we then see if there's any of these options that can be taken out?
Can we do that? Legally, can we do that?
I don't know.
You'd have to put it out to
I
bid
don't
again.
think so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
give them a motion, you're
Yeah.
changing your specs.
Yeah, rebid.
Right,
You'd have to rebid the whole process
Right.
again.
Yeah,
Right.
that's why I was asking you what you meant by that, when you said
Yeah.
that, can we remove some?
I think you'd have to rebid the whole
I
process.
I
I
agree.
think so too.
I don't think it's worth going through that myself.
Because, I mean, really, what would you take off? I mean,
There's not
Well,
much, maybe remote
no, there's
start.
yeah,
not much
that's,
there.
that's what I'm thinking, there's really not a lot.
Remote start, the heated mirrors,
I think the heated mirrors are very useful.
Well, they are, if you're
Pretty-
plowing there.
Pretty handy.
Yeah.
Yes.
but
They're always froze.
It's not
Yes.
something,
Yeah.
that's not something I would suggest getting rid of if you're gonna use it to plow, I mean. The remote start's the only thing I can see on here that might be an item that is not a necessity, but,
I don't remember on the Ford, but I know on the Chevy, that's a package. I think it's remote start, keyless entry,
I think the mirrors might have been in there as well.
on rear view camera.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the
I
one
think that was
that's part of
part of that
that
package.
package.
On the Chevy it was.
and it probably is with Ford too, so I don't think that there's.
That's the thing, you can't, used to be able to get any single item, and now they do that in packages, so
Yeah.
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to spend, if you want this, you may not want everything, but you have to buy the whole,
Sure, so you can spend more.
basically.
Basically, yeah.
Dealers, the dealer's option, so that's where they make their bucks.
Well, I agree, I think going with that local one is a good decision.
Okay, so how do you wanna word that? Need a motion?
You can make a new motion. You made a motion and a second to discuss.
Right.
You can change your motion to include this. And then we'll have to have a second and a roll call vote.
So you wanna change your motion, I
Why
seconded
can't
it.
you just make another motion to
Yes, you can,
purchase?
just to adjust.
That'd probably
Yeah.
be easiest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I make a motion to purchase the Ford F-Series from Riley Ford,
For the price of.
$30,329.
I'll second,
Okay. You have a second?
second.
Okay, any further discussion on this? Roll call, please.
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee McFetrich.
Aye.
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Mayor Martin.
Aye. That's the old business. Under new business, we have done this before, a resolution to standardize the lift station pumps. In the DOT meeting, I asked what kind of pumps they were going to put in there, and they asked what the village wanted.
Okay,
So
awesome.
we need this resolution to standardize so that we can put the pumps in there that we want, so we don't have to go out and purchase a lot of different inventory and, so I need a motion for this, and then I'll read it.
Okay, so moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, this resolution of standardization of wastewater lift station pumps for the village and town of Champlain shared services water project. Whereas the village of Champlain and the town of Champlain, through a shared water service project, have and will continue to convert their wastewater lift station pumps, and for reasons of efficiency and economy, have standardized all wastewater lift station pumps throughout the village and the town of Champlain. And whereas the standardization promotes efficiency and saves money, since the maintenance work on the same type of pump will require less labor and economy will be promoted through the purchase of multiple identical pumps and through the use of repair parts common to all new pumps, avoiding the need for investment in additional shelf stock. And whereas the standardization to flight pumps, did I pronounce that right? Flight pumps does not eliminate the need for the village of Champlain and the town of Champlain to solicit bids to obtain the lowest responsible bidders to supply flight pumps. In evaluating bid submittals, warranty coverage will be considered. And whereas the village of Champlain Board and the town of Champlain Board have carefully studied and reviewed the recommendations of the Superintendent of Public Works for the village of Champlain, therefore be it resolved, for reasons of efficiency and economy and pursuant to the authority conferred by subdivision 5 of section 103 of the general municipal law, it is determined by the village of Champlain Board and the town of Champlain Board that there is a need for standardization, and the boards do hereby continue the standardization of all wastewater lift pumps purchased for this shared services water project by the village of Champlain and the town of Champlain to be flight pumps manufactured by the Xylem Water Solutions USA Incorporated as needed pursuant to the procurement policy adopted by the village and the town of Champlain. Therefore, be it further resolved that this village board and this town board of Champlain does authorize the standardization of all wastewater lift station pumps purchased for this water project to be flight pumps. Village of Champlain, date October 5th, 2015. We have a motion by,
So moved.
and we have a second by,
Second.
and we have a roll call vote of the present members of this board.
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee McFetrich.
Aye.
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Mayor Martin.
Aye. This will be transmitted to the town board for their board meeting next Tuesday. Not tomorrow, but next Tuesday. Okay, we have one other item of business. I don't know that you have been copied, but there has, in looking at the water rates that we are currently charging our users, there has been some, there's been some differences that I think we need to look at, just to bring this to the attention of the board. The non-residential locations with residential water and sewer rates. We have a number of buildings here that we charge, like the churches that are in the village, we charge them a residential rate rather than a business rate. There is a couple buildings here that do not charge admission, that do not charge for their services, much like the churches, much like some of the other non-profits that are here in the village, that are being charged commercial rates. I think that we should reduce that to residential rates as well. So it goes along across the board with the other buildings that serve, I think, the same purposes here in the village. There is also a business here in the village that for whatever reason has been charged a residential rate. And I don't know why that came about, but I believe that one of the businesses also has an apartment. I would like to see that instead of being charged for 2 residential users or units, I would like to see that changed to 1 business and 1 residential. There is a business downtown. It is now closed, but it was a business. The bar that was downtown, that was being charged a residential unit. I would like to see that changed and charged a business unit. There is also an apartment in that building. So you had the apartment and the business, the bar at that time. Both were being charged residential units. I would like to see that changed to 1 business and 1 residential unit.
So if someone were to reopen that,
It would be charged as a business. I don't know that we need a vote for this. This is just supposed to be for board's information.
Just trying to apply some equity.
Yes.
Could I get a copy of that list then?
Yep.
Thanks.
And then do we notify these people?
Yes, they will be notified.
Okay.
Yes. Any further new business to come before the board? We have a couple issues, if I may. We have a couple issues downtown with the playground. We put a new table in there, and it didn't last long. It was defaced. So I've asked Mike to take the new table out and put one of the older tables from the park along River Street, put that in there so that people have a place to sit. But they are already pretty much damaged by the UV light. They are still together. They're not presenting a hazard, but we bought some new tables a couple months ago, and we put them in there thinking that people will police them themselves. Well, apparently we have a couple juveniles who decide that they want to leave their mark, so to speak, on the tables. So we will switch them out, and as soon as it gets cold, starts to snow, I'd still like to have some tables down there for the skating rink, but we can use the older models, instead of the newer ones, which we should, but we'll use the older ones throughout the winter, and then we'll see in the spring as we put new tables along the picnic area down at the river,
Yeah.
and some tables appropriate in the playground area.
have the state police been notified?
Not that I know of, no.
What if we get our cameras there?
We just have to get a camera down there.
I still
Where are we
think
at?
that they should be notified.
We need to do that
Because
with the
They have to
engineers.
realize that there is a problem in this village, that some of these
Not yet, no.
younger
We're
people,
still arguing about what's going to be included in the
The
project.
kids were banging with sticks on them.
We're seeing, flipping that.
Okay.
at least if they know that we're having an issue, they can kind of police it, if you will, as they're going by.
Been down this way quite often.
It's exactly, exactly, but I think they need to be made aware.
Yeah, and I think adults, when they walk by and see this happening, many of the adults will stop by and say, you can't, you shouldn't be doing this.
Mhm.
This is, this is here because we have the need, for a place to sit, a place to relax, a place to watch your children play, and a place for the teenage population. We're trying to bring them back into the village center, so to speak. But until they decide that they want to take ownership of this park, and to make sure that, the ownership is, they're gonna take care of this park, because they know if they don't, then we're gonna pull the resources out of there. We'll pull the tables out, and it's there for their enjoyment, and they should be willing to take, I hate to use the word again, but they should be willing to take ownership of that park, because it's there for them.
Yes.
Every day there's people down there sitting and using
Oh,
it.
Yeah, it's such a
Absolutely.
small proportion of people, that's probably 2 or 3 kids. We
Exactly.
need to get to those families.
Well, that's where the security cameras
Right.
Oh, yeah.
will come in very handy. I mean, it's very hard to dispute when you've caught things on camera.
Yeah, I know.
And that will be a topic of discussion when we meet with the engineers tomorrow, so.
Okay,
Okay.
because I
Yeah,
feel
but-
like we're throwing money away. People will say we need to do things in this village, and we do, and people are investing their own money in these things by donations, and to see things get ruined, it's very discouraging.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And the only thing you want to do is screw it up everybody.
Well, that's it.
It's the one or two.
Okay, any other new business? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second? All in favor?